Hello, I'm Sherry Truler with Red Apple Auctions. Thank you for joining me, where today we are going to cover 3 common licensing mistakes that happen in fundraising auctions and how you can avoid them. Now, I know that when I was an event manager at General Electric, I would have been mortified if I would have done something that would have shut down my event, or I would have broken the law. Oh my gosh, I would have been embarrassed. I would have gotten in trouble. And sadly, not to get too much on a soapbox here, but I think we've gotten to a point in our society where one person does something wrong and it goes through the court system, and suddenly we have this whole massive laws around it and licensing around it, and it creates a lot of problems for people like you who are a volunteer. You're doing this out of the goodness of your heart, and suddenly now you're having to do all of this research to figure out, that you're not breaking any rules in the process of trying to raise money for a fundraiser or for a nonprofit. So it can be pretty complicated, but these are the 3 biggies that I tend to see. And certainly I'm not an expert in licensing law, so I don't hold myself out to be an expert, but I have encountered some of these, and I just encourage you to check with your local municipality to make sure that you are you're within the bounds of what's allowed. So the first one here is with regards to raffle license. And most states have regulations around raffles, sweepstakes, and what they call contests. And I can't remember what contest specifically is, but with raffles and sweepstakes, the big difference, at least here in our area, is the raffle. Raffle, you pay for a ticket if you're going to buy a ticket for a raffle, and you might win a prize, right? They have a drawing later, and you might win. For a sweepstakes, you cannot charge when you give the tickets away. So someone could walk up to your booth and say, hey, I want tickets for the sweepstakes, and you have to give it to them. I know one group avoids getting a raffle license. They just hold a sweepstakes, and they don't charge for their tickets, but they make a request. They ask for a suggested donation of $5 per ticket. They don't make as much money. I think they'd make more money if they actually held a raffle and just sucked it up and bought the license law, but that's their choice, so they have a sweepstakes. So it's really a matter of what the rules come down to in your area. Number 2 is an alcohol license, right? Are you paying a company to manage the alcohol? Are volunteers allowed to serve the alcohol? If the wine was donated and you've got volunteers serving it, do the volunteers have to be above the age of 21? Probably. Does it matter if you're serving wine or if you're serving hard alcohol? All types of rules on it. Can you sell wine in your auction, or is there a rule on that? So just call your local authorities to make sure that you're within the boundaries here. And then 3rd is a licensed auctioneer. And I know that some of you at this point are thinking, are you kidding me? You've got to be licensed to be an auctioneer. Well, yeah, in some states, no, in others, and it just kind of depends. So that's where it gets a little tricky, because west of the Mississippi, a lot of the states do not require a license. East of the Mississippi, they do. And it's not that it's even managed on a statewide level. For instance, in Virginia and Florida, where I work a lot, it's a statewide license, and I had to go to school for a certain number of hours. It was 9 days, 10 days, kind of like a real estate agent would. And then I had to pass a test there. I flew back to Virginia or Florida, had to pass a test there. Then I got my bond, and then I got my license. And now I have to take continuing education every year to maintain that license. So it's very similar to a real estate agent license for those. But for instance, you'll laugh at this, in the District of Columbia, you just drive up there to the municipal building, you give them about $800, and boom, you are an auctioneer. They will give you a license just for giving them money. And then we have finally, like up in Maryland, it is regulated by both county and city. So if I'm in Anne Arundel County, that's a $250 license per year. But if I go up to the city of Baltimore, it's $2,800 a year. 28, 26, something like that. Very expensive. So you got to imagine, wow, how much is a benefit auctioneer in Baltimore going to work in order to make that back and make it worthwhile? It's a very expensive place. And there's a whole history on that, which I won't go into on this video, as to why they're that way. So it's very tricky, depending on where you are. So your auctioneer should really know, or at least be able to find out what is required in your particular area. Now, if you are looking for some more information, I do have a free gift for you, and it's on my website. It is my auction item guide. If you go to redappleauctions.com and sign up, it will be immediately sent to you via email, and it's got the top 100 items in it that have sold over value the previous year. So it's wonderful for your procurement meetings. You can pick that up at redappleauctions.com. I'm Sherry with Red Apple Auctions. Thank you for watching, and as always, good luck to you in your benefit auction.